Senator Risch, thank you for joining us here on Topline. Really appreciate it. One of the big questions right now is the question of the photo of bin Laden's body, or the photos. Do you think those photos should be released?
Well, not at this moment, no. Eventually these photos are going to be released. I don't think there's any question about that. The decision as to whether or not to release them is complex, but it's going to be tied to a number of things, such as what reaction is the release of those photos going to get. Number one, what are you going to get out of it? Number two, what's the reaction going to be? You got to weigh those two. Right now, I think most people are surprised at the lack of reaction in a lot of parts of the world to what's happened. I'm not so sure you want to poke the beehive by releasing these photos at this time. Eventually, I think the photos will come out.
And those who don't believe, you don't think they're really going to be convinced by a photograph, do you?
A photograph isn't going to make any difference. It's going to, DNA has now been confirmed to be 100% positive that it was bin Laden. That's what's going to convince people. Having said that, photos, DNA, whatever you have, there's people who still believe we didn't walk on the moon, and there's going to be people who believe that he wasn't killed.
Yeah, no matter what.
Just want to clarify this point. You say that you think they'll be released eventually, or they'll come out eventually. Do you think they'll be leaked, or do you think that there'll be an appropriate time to release photographs like these?
I can't predict that. Just having been in this business as long as I have, I can tell you that my judgment is one way or another, you guys are going to get to see the photos.
So the other big question here is Pakistan. I mean, this was right next to their military academy. This is in a city of 500,000 with military facilities all around it. Do you really believe they didn't know what was going on here?
I guess the way I weigh that is this. Almost all of us live in some kind of a neighborhood. And if there was a facility that was constructed in your neighborhood like this, that had people who came and went like this, wouldn't it be a matter of speculation in the neighborhood as to what was actually going on in there? So probably in a neighborhood there were people who had deep suspicions about what was happening in there. The thing about Pakistan is it's complicated, and everyone who's a student of our foreign relations today, national security today, needs to study Pakistan and its position on the world stage. We have to deal with them for reasons that are too obvious to talk about. Whether it's a good relationship every minute of every day, I think everyone would agree that it certainly could be better.
You think, though, that the Pakistanis are providing help in the war on terror, that you consider them allies in the fight against terror, despite the complicated relationship that you reference?
Right. In answer to both those questions, I would say yes. They are providing a degree of help, and secondly, they are an ally. They have their own individual interest, and I think we always lose sight of that people around the world don't always act in the interests of the United States. They act in their own interests. And obviously the political situation there is probably as complex as it is here in the United States. They look at what happens over here and believe that it's complex. We look at what happens over there and it's complex. The people who are in the government over there have to answer to a lot of different segments of the population there. So as a result of that, they don't always do things exactly the way we want them done.
Okay, you're about to run to another briefing on this, and you've been getting briefed, for the last couple of days, almost nonstop. What are you finding most fascinating and most surprising? What are you learning in these latest briefings?
Well, it isn't surprising, I guess, but I'm awfully proud of the way that this was planned. I'm awfully proud of the way that this was executed. The working together of the intelligence community and the military. And obviously, it hasn't come out yet, but there'll be more of it coming out. That there wasn't just one branch of the military involved in this. Every branch of the military. It
wasn't just Navy SEALs, in other words.
Every branch of the military was involved in this. There'll be more of that coming out in days to come.
And just very quickly, one last thing. A lot of question about the enhanced interrogation techniques. Do you believe that they were critical here, going back to Faraj al-Libi? and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, that really was those CIA interrogation techniques that started this ball rolling, or not?
Well, that's what's been said, is that that the initial thread that they started to pull on came from enhanced interrogation. From that, you can take it to a debate on where you go with that. But I don't think there's any doubt that it was enhanced interrogation that gave them the initial thread. It's been widely reported that that gave them the nickname, if you would, of an individual that proved to be absolutely critical in bringing the whole house of cards down.
All right, Senator Risch, thank you for joining us on Topline. I know you run to your next briefing. Thank you.